Ever wondered what makes TV so powerful in Jamaica? Time to find out. Welcome to Global TV Group 358, where television meets innovation. We're not just about shows, we're about shaping society. In Jamaica, TV keeps you informed, connects diverse voices, and supports democracy. Imagine a Jamaica where broadcasters unite, sharing data and collaborating globally. That's us, a unified voice in the TV industry. Did you know TV advertising is still king? It drives website traffic, boosts brand equity, and powers integrated campaigns. Even in an age of digital, TV stands strong, resilient in tough times. Our global TV deck is your treasure trove of insights and data. With charts, graphs, and success stories, it's your guide to impactful TV advertising. Curious to learn more? Visit our website and see how Global TV Group 358 keeps television at the heart of entertainment in Jamaica. Get ready to binge watch the future.
Thy peace, God of my salvation, because the mouth of the sinful and wicked is open. Rastafari. Come with I. Rastaman throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Not a people there. Make a man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Only when man like Marcus Garvey speak, wicked men would I hear. Hear now hear. Instead of that, they only sit aside a rub and cheat, and not first and four. Make up what I seen to. Make him a throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a plan. Make him a throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. My favorite man, if Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the day them can sell out Rasta and sell it out and sell out Babylon. They give man throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. They give man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. If Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the dead and can sell out Rasta, I sell out, I sell out Babylon. Just stop on the Friday. You might throw a stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a black thing, man, throw a stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. You have eyes to see, let him see. You have ears to hear, let them hear. What a prophet must say. President Mandela was in prison for 20 odd years. And he leave from the prison and take the seat of the president. Stone one. Big him and throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what's a black? Big him and throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Rastaman throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men.
Good morning. It is Saturday, the 27th of September. Usually, I know you don't expect me out here on a Saturday morning, but I'm here, aren't I? The Prime Minister went to the United Nations calling for a global war on gangs. The Prime Minister yet is to realize nobody is interested in his global war on gangs. He said the same thing when Marco Rubio came to Jamaica, even though Marco Rubio had no idea what the Prime Minister was really on about. But Andrew Holness is calling for a global war on gangs. Is that giving a green light to Donald Trump assault and fishermen in the Caribbean waters? That is something that we ought to keep a close eye on. And we're still calling for the immediate arrest of all 23 officers involved in Jamar's murder and the resignation of the commissioner, Dr. Kevin Blake, with the DR title. Morning, everyone, and welcome to my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters, and trolls. Good morning, welcome. Thank you all for joining us on this Saturday morning, standing up for justice. I am still baffled as to why the seriousness of what has happened in Cherokee Lane has not really cut through to the Jamaican psyche, where we don't feel as if we're at very high risk. Sheena Kelly, good morning. John Rock 8766. Joan Bailey, Annie Jones. Real sweet. Good morning. Good morning. Zanette Beckford. Good morning. Daphne Jackson. Nadine Vinson. Good morning. Amadi. Good morning. Good morning, TikTok. How are you all doing? Who is over here? Jamaican Queen, Diane. Sissy 18766. Good morning and welcome. If you're on the UK timeline, good afternoon. Is the Prime Minister aware that a global war on gangs, Prime Minister, will engulf the Jamaican government and the Jamaica Security Services? Because that's the heart of where gangsterism resides, Prime Minister. Those are the people who fund gangs. Those are the people who assist gangs with some of their apparatus to operate, like selling guns and shots to them. Even though Jamar's killing has hit the spotlight, but since the start of this year, the Jamaica Constabulary Force has cut down over 200 young men. Knowing what we know now, how can we say that all 200 plus young men who have been cut down by the Jamaica Constabulary Force aren't innocent? How do we know they're involved in crimes? How do we know that the gun recovered in a lot of these cases are not in the same as Jamar's cases where it's been planted? How do we know? And how government will act without any pressure from you, the people? When you, the people, send a signal to the government that this behavior is okay, we accept this behavior. Violet Watson, how are you? This behavior is okay. We accept this behavior. We can work with this. Is the signal the Jamaican people are sending to the government at the moment? This is not dangerous enough. This is not life-threatening enough. We don't see our children going up against the same brutality. Our children who are not involved in crime, who is on the right path, the path that government and society said you ought to be on, working and be an upstanding member of society. But we're going to come back to Jamar. There's a few other topics I want to pick up on when we see in the... Hold on, let me check the IC. Come in and listen to nothing from Nationwide. Let me check the IC. What's you gonna call it? What the thing in name? The bird. Because anything that IC publish, them tend to put it out over there. So September 26th, yes. Okay, for investigative report submitted to the integrity to Parliament for tabling Norman Ferguson and Ben Ahono. Andrew, I wonder where not them, yeah. 1 p.m. The Integrity Commission start. Prime Minister next month at your court, you know. Before this year about anybody in your cabinet, Prime Minister, just asking. Hold on there before we go up on the Integrity Commission report. Me see everybody on social media I kill up themselves about Andrew Holness and him executive team pay package. Wanna beat up on yourself. The JLP government is a Nyam food government. Blessed woman, how you do? Sophie. The JLP government is a Nyam food government. JLP knows this is them last chance. Because they know they never win the election or they, you know. Them know them impose themselves upon we. So all of who no name food yet, Andrew Holness said name food. So we not see what we bite up ourselves over. Choosing Jamaica was choosing a big executive. Choosing Jamaica was choosing an expensive executive. We don't have the money to pay them. Pay them and stop complaining. I don't want to choose them. Why are you complaining, Jamaica? Tell me now. Why is Jamaica complaining? Hold on there. Globalist. I can remove this and bring it back in a studio. Why is Jamaica people complaining? You all choose Jamaica. You chose an executive with a 700 million per year pay package, and you're still complaining? You wouldn't choose them if you don't have money to pay them. So I don't see what the hullabaloo over. You put the people them to work, the people them say, let me tell you if you never hear. The people them say for telling us say, in order for them produce good result, they have to get all heap of money. You never hear it. Hmm? So all on we are run up and down now are going like 700 million a year. Yes, them deserve it. They deserve the 700 million per year. Uno vote choose Jamaica. So I don't see what Uno complaining about. But to the Integrity Commission send more investigative report to Parliament. Wonder what's going to be the outcome if this is in relation to MPs or people within the public sector or so on and so forth. Will we see a tabling of these reports next week, or will we get back into the dilly-dally cat and rat race with Juliet Allness over whether they should be published or not? Will Juliet Wholeness be holding them off until Andrew Court call up next month? We don't know. But we are expecting the PNP to fight hard to have these reports tabled by Tuesday. So the PNP got work to do. If them sister the speaker what them claim to don't agree with, stifle the report by publishing it at the earliest point, by tabling it at the earliest point, which would be Tuesday's Parliament or Monday if they have Parliament Monday. We're expecting that to happen. And if that don't happen, we're expecting a robust pushback from from the PNP on that particular matter, because this government is and will go at all length to cover up the crimes that they are committing against the people. So we'll look to what's coming out of these reports on Thursday. But Wholeness went to the UN, and Wholeness not seem to be aware of the issue unfolding right in our territory. In fact, Wholeness calling for a war on gangs would almost be giving legitimacy to Donald Trump bombing 3 times now, 3 boats of fishermen now being blown up by Donald Trump. Is this Andrew Wholeness giving the green light to Donald Trump to say we are okay with you blowing up fishermen in our waters? Do you understand the signal when other leaders within the region, African leaders, are pushing back on that very same escalation in the Caribbean? Andrew Wholeness, Eagle Paw, how you do? Andrew Wholeness, which is chair of CARICOM, Brenda Elson, Gerald, Colleen. is giving the green light to Donald Trump in their declaration and war and gangs with guns and narcotics. Do you understand how deep within the government or within our political spheres that would venture, Prime Minister? Hmm? We would have to even start with the Minister of National Security, with the very security service that he commands is aware of the tantamount of illegal gun where Aris Chang are bringing at the country. Everybody is fully aware of that. You would have to start the war upon the business community. These are the people that have the money to pay for drugs and gun shipment in our country. So be careful what you call for, because a top-down sweep would be a better thing. But when Marco Rubio came, and now you go into the UN with the same pile of nothing, nobody is listening to you. Nobody is listening to Andrew Holness and his global war and gang. What is a global war and gang? Who are the partners within that global war on gangs? What resources does Jamaica have to fight a global war on gang? Prime Minister, stop with the gaslighting and stop with the making up things to sound relevant. Because to have a global war on gang, Prime Minister, you have to clean up the security force that you command. You have to clean up the corruption in the security force, Prime Minister. You have to clean up the judge, jury, executioner mentality, Prime Minister. So I don't understand you running around with this narrative, a global war and gang, blah, blah, blah. I don't even think you understand what you're saying. And the fact that you keep repeating it and you say no other leaders in the world not reacting to it, even when you're up on the same stage with Marco Rubio when he came to Jamaica, he doesn't know what he was talking about. He said that's not their intention, that's not their plan. Are you one conjure up that idea? Look how difficult it is just to deal with Haiti, Prime Minister, where you can't even update us on what's happening to our men that you sent there. And you're talking about a global war. You're not even calling for a regional war and gangs, Prime Minister. Not even a regional war, a global war. You know the reputation Jamaica has across the globe when it comes to gangsterism, Prime Minister. You know what it seemed and what your is to people in the media, Europe and North America. The Jamaican government, the Jamaican politicians are closely aligned to gangs. So you say you have to do a house sweeping first before you come out and spout out the whole heap of nonsense out of Andrew Holness' mouth. Jamaica calling for, or Jamaica wants to lead a global war on gang. Jamaica would have to clean house first. Look at what we have in front of us now. We're the same people that you want to use to carry out a global war on gangs. These are the same people caught red-handed, Prime Minister, in front of all of us, murdering a young man, tampering with the evidence scene, planting weapons. Those are the people, Prime Minister, you would expect us to trust to carry out a global war on gang. The same police, them Prime Minister, where you just need to scratch them hand miggle and get them go the other way. The same hungry law enforcement, them Prime Minister, we cannot survive without they extort the Jamaican public. Are them your talk? Are them your talk? Come in and see what else? What can Jamaica contribute to a global war on gang? When everything in Jamaica political spheres is about gangsterism, Prime Minister. Look at your behavior during the election. Mystic Raindrops TV, how you do? Mazat Control. Look at your behavior just recently in the general election, Prime Minister. Look on the members here, on say on na hand over, na submit Jamaica to the PNP, you know. Remember, on so no we do any and everything for winning a Prime Minister. And we saw no gangsterize, they will go around the country and stole the election. This is the same Prime Minister calling for a war and gang. Does the Andrew Holness really understand when him open his mouth and say certain thing? Him really understand what he must say? Or does Andrew Holness expect sensible, well-thinking Jamaicans to believe that what he's saying is true, or what he says make any sense at all? When you make people with the DR type look so cheap and plaka. But I could run across the other few story, because I see them are no man thief in Kevin Blake. Marant Bay, Joan Brown, how are you? Bad toy don't play, morning. Marant Bay Urban Center. Gleaner. Throughout the whole election, we're talking about it, we're highlighting. So, uno come now, Gleaner, and I say, Marant Bay Urban Center not yet open for business. I mean, we've been saying it throughout the whole election. We've been saying it from the Prime Minister gonna go cut ribbons, so no toilet, no did it, no sewage system, no connect up there. Them uncle lean up a KFC board up there. So I don't see what the Gleaner come out about now. Marant Bay Urban Center not yet open for business. When did you find that out, Gleaner? Because we knew from the very day the Prime Minister cut the ribbon. We knew. What, did you expect the government 2 weeks after winning the election to open an urban center that they did not make ready for business before the election? Anyway, on a show, so on the behind us. Show Gleaner. So on the behind us. Because we have been beating that drum from the Prime Minister through the scissors span the ribbon. And the Gleaner now just have come tell we, say Maran Bay urban center now open for business. When did you find that out? Because we knew from the very day the Prime Minister cut the ribbon. That was no secret to us. And we repeatedly said it. So I don't know where the Gleaner come up now with the I am so late story. Come on, Gleaner. We expect better from at least you. Gleaner, we expect better from you. If it is that you hold back the story finna damage Andrew Holness in the election, he would have thief and win anyway. Bad or good news, Andrew Holness having money put down aside to buy the election. Andrew Holness plan in scheme to win the election. So if you report the facts and the truth from Den Gleaner, me not think it would make a difference to the Prime Minister election buying or not. So welcome on a catch up, but it's quite late. It's quite late, I must say, for a world-renowned newspaper. Talk it out, tell it out, and take time, Gleaner. Walk it, talk it, tell it out, Gleaner. You catch up, but you're very late. Mad Tunes. Good evening. And Jamaica, and Master Mad Tunes say, even though it's still not up in Jamaica, people have to pay tax to Andrew Holness. So I don't know why the Gleaner just wake up all of a sudden. So no. This is where we're expecting robust action from the People's National Party. Because Ed Bartlett, on the instruction of that white man in the tourist industry, is coming back to Parliament to regulate the Airbnb industry or the tourism sector that would secure the slave master's children continuous monopoly on the tourism sector. So we are expecting the PNP to have an almighty pushback on this, because with the little they had then, Mark Golding managed to stop them in their tracks before the general election. So it will be something to see how the People's National Party will move forward on this, if they'll allow the bill to go forward. If the bill have to give assurance and clauses as to the people that the People's National Party concerned about will not be affected by the legislation somewhere down the road. So this is something that we're also keeping eyes on when the legislative agenda resume, to see how the government will be advancing the regulation of the Airbnb industry, and how the People's National Party will deal with this. So this is something. Oh, sorry. I miss Smoothie across the Opal Belchin. Sorry about that. Opal Watson, how you do? But when the same Airbnb people that's true, Charlotte Graham morning. But remember doing it, remember say Andrew help thief the election as well. So some may vote for him and he may thief in way. But we're waiting to see how PNP will deal with this bill, because we are aware that they were in strong opposition to what was brought to the House then, and they were sent packing with it. So now that they have more power when it comes to voting, let's see how Andrew Holness might be willing to compromise going forward. As you remember, he extended the olive branch, said, let's work together, Marky G, because he knows he doesn't wield that almighty power in Parliament anymore. And as I spoke about this issue yesterday morning, Colombia is calling for a criminal investigation against Donald Trump. Andrew Holt, it is worrying, very worrying, that Andrew Holness is so quiet. But then again, if Andrew Holness is so far up Donald Trump and Netanyahu's arms, Andrew Holness, when Netanyahu took to the podium at the United Nations, Marcia Thomas, a massive walkout and booing took place. Were you a part of that, or did you sit down and cheer on the genocidal maniac Netanyahu, Prime Minister Holness? Mayor Motley went out and quite a stinging attack on the genocide in Palestine, and yet to hear from Andrew Holness. Climate change, war and gang, climate. Those are your highlights from the UN, Prime Minister. Climate change, war and gang. Isola, how you do? Climate change, war and gang. Two things that Jamaica has no power to affect change in, Prime Minister. Of course, we can affect change in gang by allowing we police them, the police and lock up thieving criminal politician. And police feel lock up them one another for the crime them where them are commit. But Holness is very quiet on Donald Trump criminality in our region. 3 fisher boats now blown up by Donald Trump. Because as long as there's a boat in the region, a drugs. Why don't America try control the guns where come to its border? Or because it's deliberate, America is not concerned about that, because that helped in America's depopulating agenda. Thief in America. Look at how you are falling, America. And you're not even paying attention to you coming down the slope. What put you aside for now? We must press Andrew Holness for a response on this area within our waters. Something that can create war around us. Something that's going to be disturbing or devastating to our economy. The Prime Minister is the leader of the CARICOM pact, as Jamaica chairs CARICOM at the moment. But CARICOM doesn't have a voice. All of these organizations, the United Nation of the International American Corporation, which include the World Bank, IMF, WTO, WHO, and all the acronyms that comes under that. You have CARICOM, You have the American, the OAC or whatever them call it. You have the African Union. You have the European Union. All these entities are a but expensive talking shop and defeated rush. Oh, you do. All of these are some expensive talking shop that is a burden to taxpayers globally because we, the taxpayers, have to fund these expensive trips of your leaders to go and sit down around a round table or in an audience, listen to and speak bullshit. Literally, if you don't understand, just listen to Donald Trump's speech at the United Nations. That's what you pay for your leader to go and listen to without any benefit to your country or economy. Not one single bit of it. But that is what we pay for. And what we pay for, that is what they're serving us up. And we just continue on like lamb to the slaughter. We don't see no reason to hold we leaders them to account. And say, hold up, man. We don't get no benefit out of this. We're not getting any benefit out of this. This is a friend. This is a friend thing. And because it is a friend thing, you or I will never benefit out of it because it's not about us. It is about them. So Jamaicans should press wholeness on this issue. Don't make it look like it's a non-issue. Don't let it appear, Jamaica. Hold on. Like it's a non-issue. See, Trump already placed Jamaica in the thingy there. There's another slide where we want to deal with, but look like it up on your broadcast. Look, let me see if I find it in my phone. Yeah. Jamaicans in the diaspora urged to invest in local housing, real estate. And the thing we are full of foreign. After we say what we want to do with Hussein Bolt, you think we are foreign really trust Uno? When you say invest in a Jamaica, when you look on Lee Chin reputation, when you look on Andrew Holness reputation, when you look on the reputation of the Cross Grizz, Uno believe to say, when Uno talk about us investing in Jamaica is something that we take lightly. I mean, after Usain Bolt experience, Jamaicans wouldn't be so hasty when it comes to investing in our country, because we see just how it can turn out. Let me go back to what we're there for now. The brutal killing of Jamar Ferguson. Let's remind you, if you're just a see, the length that the police officers went in order to conceal the crime they committed on that day in that house. And justices of the peace are to be called into question on this matter. And I don't know if justices of the peace in Jamaica understand the duty of a magistrate and the impartiality of magistrates and how they should execute their job without political favor, hindrance, or coercion and collusion. And if we don't call them JP, we call them magistrate. And if a magistrate is issuing a search warrant, that search warrant is not issued on the whims and fancy of the police officer who requires it. They must provide evidence to the magistrate as to what we are investigating, how much evidence we have gathered, and we believe if given the search warrant, it will give us the evidence to pass the threshold test to secure a conviction. We believe that we will find drugs. We believe from our intelligence that we will find firearm and such like and such a forth. So magistrate or justice of the peace don't just issue out search warrant just so. But then again, we're talking about Jamaica. We're not talking about a normal society. I'm in DC right now, and I met a prominent business developer that is in the hotel development business. And after conversation, I found out a big to the ruling party. Not even. Back to the cover. Find out where you can find out to. Find out where you can find out, Abena. Now let's remind you of the length the police officers went to commit the crime, and not only committing the crime, but tampering with the evidence, planting evidence. That is what we're up against. How much of the over 200 young men murdered by the Jamaican constabulary force falls in the category of Jamar Ferguson?
This now viral video shows the now deceased Jamar Ferguson opening the door to his dwelling in Cherry Lane, Clarendon, minutes to 3 p.m. Monday, September 15. The concern for relatives is what happened before and or after this apparent surrender that would cause the 22-year-old mixologist to be killed by police. A request to the JSA for the official report on the fatal shooting has gone unanswered. But CCTV footage obtained by CVM News from 2:34 up to 3 p.m. gives us a timeline of the events. The first video was captured at 2:34 p.m. Jamar arrives home from work. His housemate who also works with him confirmed this with CVM News. He's eating a patty and makes his way upstairs to his room. At 2:38 p.m., he takes off his shirt and walked to his room. He stays there until 2:56 p.m. when he sees the police arrive at the gate. He runs with his phone to let them inside. He was home alone. This is where the plot develops. From this video, we know Jamar is outside. 2:57 to 2:58 p.m. Police enter and search the entire building. The cameras don't show it, but they force their way into 4 other rooms other than Jamar's. When we visited, we were shown the damage to each door. In fact, this door was badly damaged. No one else was there. Then they turned this camera sideways. But it continues recording on a cloud. They unplugged the internet at 3:31 p.m. But the camera downstairs continued recording before the police disconnected the internet and captured several of the team members walking in and out, stopping and checking behind chairs, conversing with each other, even talking on the phone. In this video alone, we count at least 10 policemen and women in conversation while Jamar is outside. The last video was recorded at 3:31 p.m. The other tenant says the internet was disconnected and his 3 cameras upstairs taken by police. He brought us to the room and showed us what appeared to be bullet holes in the wall where Jamar was reportedly shot. Bloodstains were still present. Indicom has all the footage seen by CVM News and is investigating. The other tenant has since moved out in fear, telling CVM News the police have circled the area every day since the shooting. Residents staged a protest on Saturday demanding answers. Jamar's aunt, who raised him, also wants answers.
It don't take a rocket science to know that you have to have a search warrant. Whose name is on the search warrant?
Giovanni Dennis.
No. This Patsy is very silent on the matter. This Patsy had nothing to say until he was robbed by the Assistant Commissioner of Indicom. That's when the Patsy came out. And if you go onto their Facebook page, you would know that the statement is in reference to Jamar because he has his picture up there. And he's not really updating the nation as to the circumstances. He's rather going on about what the Indicom commissioner, assistant commissioner, had said. That's the only reason why the Patsy came out.
See the people? It is concerning that the courts and justices of the peace are issuing these warrants with sometimes just the name of the road. Other warrants have the correct or more full details of a house, name or a number, etc. This particular one just has Cherry Tree Lane. So apparently, the police officers that unalive Jamar, the warrant that they are now showing has no address on it, no name on it. So it seems they got a warrant, but this warrant just says Cherry Tree Lane.
Right. There's a difference between a warrant and an order. An order can be issued by the commissioner or a high-ranking superintendent to say, have a raid or a curfew or whatever on Cherry Tree Lane. You cannot, though, issue a warrant of such. Warrant goes down to specificity, such as address and person. So the warrant is not a legal one. The warrant issued, and we would want to know which dunce paid for get a position, because I hope our justice of peace in Jamaica can read, Only power justice of the peace in Jamaica are dunce. only for them just get the position because of who they know, who they are aligned to. And when me say dunce, me mean big letter dunce, where you don't need magnifying glass to look pan. Good dunce is the only way that you could have a warrant issued by a magistrate, say Cherry Tree Lane. What that would means, if something can really go so, is that warrant you could walk in anybody house at Cherry Tree Lane with that warrant. Can something go so? Honestly, the level of dunceness in our country and how these dunceness has cost the life of a young man. But this is not the first, as Indicom Commissioner would be suggesting. They would have seen many of these warrants without the details that are supposed to be on warrant. A name and address. Otherwise, it's an order.
See the people? It is concerning that the courts and justices of the peace are issuing these warrants with sometimes just the name of the road. Other warrants have the correct or more full details of a house, name or a number, etc. This particular one just has Cherry Tree Lane. So apparently, the police officers that unalive Jamar, the warrant that they are now showing has no address on it, no name on it. So it seems they got an warrant, but this warrant just says Cherry Tree Lane. So what wanna do? Just choose the nicest house on the block. Choose a house where wanna say look like somebody might be in there. What was the thought process of these police officers? Something must be done. See there? No lie now tell. Amish Campbell, the Deputy Commissioner of Police for Indicom. You understand me? And then a lot of people coming on my post with negativity and talking about this and talking about that and not holding the Prime Minister or the opposition leader accountable to coming forward and saying something. When you're the leader of a country, when things like these happen, you should voice your opinion. Even to come and say condolences to the family and we're doing investigation until further notice. You understand me? Even allow your minister to say something, your minister of security. Nothing is being said. Come on, Jamaica, man. This can't continue. A lot of innocent people are dying. Come on, Jamaica.
I don't know what is happening to us. Why we cannot see. We use these instances to protect politicians. Because the JLP, them, when we are called for accountability,
For the next update that
when we are called for accountability from Andrew Holness, Horace Chang, and Kevin Blake. But let me tell you why it's important as a country, why we speak to Andrew Holness and Horace Chang on this particular matter. Their utterances, their public utterances. The Prime Minister famous is meet a judge or your maker. The Minister of National Security shoot first, ask questions after. The Minister of National, we don't even go focus on the illegal gun them with the Minister of Security are carrying. We don't even look at that right now. The Minister of National Security telling you, Jeep back or pan stretcher. These words are powerful in the year of young men with power and guns. These words carry weight to young, dunce young men who are not properly trained, who are underpaid, who is living a harsh life despite putting their lives at risk to do what we employ them to do. Those are powerful words. When it comes to reckless people who are in a tribal mentality, look at how JLP take every single word that Andrew Holness says seriously, even when they know the Prime Minister is speaking literal fuckery. They would condone it, they would celebrate it, they would hug it up. Why do you expect our police officers not to be a part of the same Jamaica psyche? Well, when we look up to somebody, or when we can beg somebody, the person can't do no wrong for we. Why you think we police them don't have that same mindset? Where say, as Chopper John said, whatever Andrew Holness said, I saw it go. Don't you understand why we have to call on the Prime Minister to change the rhetoric? Why we are calling on the Minister of National Security and the Police Commissioner to resign? You don't understand that? You don't understand. That's why we're calling on them to resign. Because their words, in my view, are contributing to the wanton murder that the Jamaica Constabulary Force is carrying out in the country since the start of this year. And now that we saw, or is seeing in plain sight, how Jamar Ferguson murder went down, we should question all 200 and other them. Were they innocent? Have they been set up? Have they been recklessly or maliciously killed? Have they been killed just because police has the power to do it? Have they been killed because police cannot bother to investigate? So killing them would just be an easier thing and setting them up, story done? I saw it go now, Jamaica. And at that you're willing to tolerate? You know, the wholeness can Nico, you know, the wholeness can look out against the genocidal maniac Netanyahu. Me and Motta take a good decent chunk out of him. Namibia and other African countries took a good chunk out of Israel. Jamaica is ever so fucking silent on the matter. You wonder if we're becoming a colony of Israel, because we've long been a colony of America. You wonder if we're becoming a colony of Israel. But let's listen to exclusive media reporting on this matter.
But the next update that we're going to talk about, my peeps, is in relation to the fatal knockings and clappings under what everyone has described as controversial circumstances in Churchill Lane in Clarendon, where this young man, Jamar Ferguson's life was taken by the security forces in what they described as an alleged confrontation. Now we're going to hear from the mother of Jamar Ferguson, that's Lafian Powell, who states that the police have robbed her of a good son. She described her firstborn and only son as a mannerable young man. Now we're going to hear from the mother as she weighs in on her son's fatality. Boy, may I tell you, it's rough, but anyway, listen.
Up to this moment, I am still cannot believe that it is my child, but I am trying my best to come to reality as time goes by, because I know that if I call his phone, I'm not going to get through.
And tell me, Miss Powell, what kind of son was Jamar?
I have been hearing one of the person, even if many of a conflict, he always come around. Even if he don't say, Mommy, he will say, Miss Ever Lady, was it? If you have something to give to your sisters, he will say, come around and give it.
And had you had any reports whatsoever, heard anything at all, that your son was involved in any kind of illegality, any kind of...
No, sir, not that I know. No. Up to this moment, I still cannot believe what I'm hearing.
I knew this young man very well. When he was a toddler, his mother used to walk he and his sisters to school. The community will tell you, very quiet, rarely speak, not involved in anything untoward that any of us could speak to. He grew up very quiet, very humble. It's not often to the young people pass and say good morning or good evening or good day. And this young man, that's the kind of demeanor that you get from him when you happen to meet or to pass him. That's what he exhibited.
The male voice in the latter part of the voice clip is said to be the mayor of Maypen, Joel Williams, who says that Jamar Ferguson was a person that he knew and was a quiet and unassuming child. Now in the come, say them a keep a close eye on this one here. So we're going to hear from Assistant Commissioner of Indicom, Hamish Campbell, as he weighs in and states that the eerie silence from the High Command serves to fuel rumors that the police may not have acted in a lawful manner. Now listen.
The Commissioner of Police and superior senior command within the police, in others from my own experience, would speak out in relation to fatal shootings which have caused alarm and concern within communities and sections of the community, to try to provide reassurance and allay citizens' concerns. That's a perfectly legitimate approach by the Commissioner of Police and the police force here to do that if they wish. It doesn't interfere with, no one wants to speak to the concerned officers, of course. That's a separate matter which we will address. The rising concern is repeated, have to be candid, too often. We've now reached 226 people have been shot and killed this year. Last year's whole total was 189. The year before was 155. Now, the police have got a very significant job to do and engage with armed and dangerous men, if they are indeed armed and dangerous, and bring them to the court. So they're citizens, some sections of society will naturally be concerned, and they don't believe, right or wrong, the accounts sometimes attributed by the police to events in terms of international human rights, international practice, that in order to allay and remove all this mistrust, misunderstanding, and confusion, wear body-worn cameras.
226 young men since the start of this year on the Prime Minister's wave of bringing down the crime figure. The right to life, a fundamental right under our Constitution, has been violated over and over and over under this government, who, when they were in opposition, criticized the People's National Party on the very same thing, the sanctity of life. That life now, which Andrew Holness and his government and the security services who take instruction from them, not 1 ounce of regard for the right to life. Not 1 ounce. it is why we end up with a Jamar Ferguson situation. And how much, may you ask, Delroy Henry? How you doing? Ray, morning. Thanks for the share. And how much, may you ask, of the 226 young men that has been murdered by the Jamaica Constabulary Force since the start of this year, how much fall into the Jamar Ferguson category? That's a question, Jamaica. That is a question that we may never get an answer to. Because not everybody have the luxury of the cameras that provided us what happened at Jamar Ferguson's residence. And Jamaica don't see the seriousness of this. That our life, or God-given right to life, are now being held in the hands of police officers. Do you not understand it like that? After what is coming to public knowledge, even though we don't see the gruesomeness of what they did to that young man, we saw the length they go to cover up the crime that they committed. Does that not make you feel fearful? If not for yourself, for your son, which are the main target of this government? But it also shows the hands of both sides of the political party. None of them have no sympathy and no empathy for we as people. Because at least labor rights and PNP, we could have come acknowledge the situation. We could have come out and acknowledge the situation. Is a mother like Funo mother too? A human being like Uno too. And for PNP and JLP sit down and go on like, even though a small sector of the country we in grieve and outrage after what it turned out to be. And only don't have no respect for stand by us as a people. This not only require leadership from the Jamaica Labour Party, This doesn't only require leadership from the Jamaica Labour Party. This required cross-party leadership. The two of just talk about unity the other day, Why not unite and stand against state brutality, Mark Golding and Andrew Holness? If we don't want to play the unity game, Mark Golding and Andrew Holness, why not unite against police brutality? Why not start it there? Because that is what we, the people, would want to see. A united front from our political leaders against police brutality and human rights abuses. How about that? And sure, look at respect for no, whether we vote for no for free, whether not buy it or whether not thief it from we. We not could show look at respect. both Andrew Holness and Mark Golden, both Peter Bunting and Horace Chang. There's no voice, no political voice in our country, no operational voice in the Jamaica Constabulary Force, or because of no shame, because of being caught red-handed, or no get caught with no pants down. Is that the problem? Why not so silent? Because everybody get caught with them pants down. The silence is kind of deafening though. And what the silence is showing us, that these people don't care much about us other than when they want the votes to get power. Chris D, morning. Other than when on one will vote, cousin D's were going forget power. Really don't really show like we're people. Nigel, how you do? PNP silent, JLP silent. And we one just left out here with this struggle, so while them aggressive dogs is just out there attacking. In the last week when them killed Jamar, about 3 different killing, there's Indicom investigation in St. Catherine, there's Indicom investigation in St. Andrew, and of course there's Indicom investigation in in Clarendon in relation to Cherry Tree. Cherry Lane people understands this is not the first time a young man got killed innocently in their house right at Cherry Tree Lane there, shortly after the Cherry Tree Lane massacre. We saw where they go in a house, wake up another young man, send him girlfriend out of the room, and then killed him and set him draw a gun upon them. I mean, anybody over the age of 40 or over the age of 50 knows the story when a police officer kills an innocent person. Everybody knows that story. We were fired upon, or we were engaged in a shootout, and a man was found later in nearby bushes with gunshot wound, a semi-automatic rifle and a 9mm, and spent shells were discovered next to the body. Tell me you don't know that. Tell me, say, Barbara Simpson, you don't know that story there. If you don't know that story, then you're not a Jamaican. And if you don't know that story, you were only born yesterday. But if you're born before yesterday, if you're Jamaican, you know that story. And whenever that story surfaces, we know it's an innocent man them kill. Because that's the official narrative of killing an innocent man. The 50-year-old story surfaces again. even for no story. But then again, you never know, say, even when you take with the camera, them, when you don't hear about the thing about cloud, recording in the cloud. Everything we do is in the cloud. We don't keep things limited to with devices because we know no can attack with devices. But we know say when it come in at the cloud, is we are on up there. So even though when you plug out the internet and you take with the camera them, the recordings are safe because they automatically store to the cloud. This is how you know, say, we police them dunce backwards and is only operating on brute force. Dunce and is only operating on brute force. Because them not even have the sense to know, say, nobody no record things and keep to them device anymore. Because we know, say, when you not come after we not come after we device them. Thanks, cuz. We know when you not come after we not also come after we devices. Because you know want get hold of and crush and delete the information, whatever information bad down. But it exposed the lies of the usual statement what we normally get found when these shooting happen. It exposed the lies because now that the video is out, it just shred your story of policing apart. Say, let's say the video never exists and the reality of what we are seeing on the video, I saw it go. One would have still allow a man who surrendered to get back upstairs without under your command and control or being handcuffed. Get back upstairs and get a weapon to fire at you. You see the shoddy type of policing where I explain to us? Because unless, but then again, you never know this information are going to come out and you never kick off the front door so somebody let you in at the house. And if it was him alone at home, you allow him to let you in at the house and then you still, while you did it, a kick off door and a search for whatever and whoever him manage, you know. Figure take up gun, shoot at a 23 police, 23 criminals, and him one dege manage after come downstairs, come let you know in the house. If still go back upstairs, go take out gun out of clothes and fire at town. And we still appear, no. That's the heartache. We still appear, no, for such a shoddy, disgraceful job. We still appear, no. Don't wonder why the uniform so tight. We still appear, no, for nothing at all. Not even a good murder no can commit. Because this one has left a disgraceful stain on our country. This one has left a disgraceful stain on the trustworthiness of our security forces. This one has left a stain on the crime fighting initiative in Jamaica. Because if police kill somebody from my family or my community like this, I don't want to have anything to do with the police. I don't want to give any information to the police. Which of them can we trust? How can we trust them when they are willing and waiting to get their palm greased or scratched? And Jamaica people don't think we're in a very, very dangerous territory. Or you can say we are in a very precarious moment. Where this ends, you know, my people, matters on the stance that you take and the steps that you're prepared to take in order to preserve what your forefathers and foremothers fought from plantation day to give you and I certain level of freedom. It bothers me how you are so silent when you see that life, one of the greatest freedoms, life, and you watch this Jamaican government ordering these extrajudicial killing, the police officers carrying them out, the police officer tampering with evidence. And Jamaicans are not concerned about this all. I take it that you're not Jamaican, Angela, are you? Because if you're Jamaican, you would know this story. So I take it you're not Jamaican? I wonder why these murder blue clothes thieves putting these people on administrative duty or removing them from frontline is not enough. What we need is swift arrests of all 23 police officers involved in the murder of Jamar Ferguson. Just to quickly explain to one of my TikTok viewers asking who is Jamar. Jamar Ferguson is a 22-year-old young man in Jamaica who, I think on last Thursday, his house was raided by police in broad daylight. Not raided in a sense where they have to kick in the door. He went down and opened the door for them. And what we're speaking is things that was captured on closed circuit camera from the residence. The police claimed, the official claim from the police is that he fired at them, and that's how they killed him. But when all the footage from the camera surfaced, we then realized he was the one who opened the door for the police. Immediately upon contact with the police, he held his hand up and surrendered. The police stormed the house and went to various areas of the house. We later on got more video footage showing that the police, either before or after the murder, because that we did not see because that took place in the bedroom upstairs, but where the video footage was captured downstairs in the living area, we saw where the police officers went at length to conceal and tamper with the evidence, like taking away the cameras, turning around the cameras, plugging out the internet, and all sorts. So those evidence coming out from closed circuit points to extrajudicial killing of an innocent young man. Both political parties are silent on the matter. The security services hierarchy are very silent on the matter. And these 23 police officers who is involved in this murder is only on back office duty. And what we're calling for justice now for Jamar Ferguson. We're calling for the resignation of the commissioner of police, as well as we're calling for the arrest and charge of all 23 police officers involved in the murder of Jamar Ferguson. So I hope that enlightens you as to what the issue is when it comes to Jamar Ferguson. I don't see where us as a country is treating this with the urgency that we really ought to be treating it with, the concern that we ought to be treating this situation with. We're not safe anymore, Jamaica. That would seem so, Angela, that they definitely went on a killing mission because of all the steps they took in order to conceal the evidence or to tamper with the evidence. They deliberately went on a killing spree. There's a lot of question arising out of the murder of Jamar Ferguson. The issue with our system in Jamaica, will we ever have these questions answered? And if we do, we will ever have any truthful answers coming to the public? But this is outrageous, and we ought to be outraged as a nation. And it baffles me as to why parents across the country are not in deep concern at the moment, why the people of Jamaica are not mobilizing themselves. When it gets to the point where it's us versus the state, that calls for a people mobilization to show the government that we, the people, are still in charge. We, the people, employ you, even though we have to pay you 700 million a year for the executive. I mean, we have it. Why not pay it? You know, see, where Jamaicans are arguing about the bill for the government is too high. What you want them to do? What you want them to do? Go bed hungry? The government have to eat decent. Them have to pack them gut like pigs. So them can't survive for minimum wage, nor living wage, nor middle class wages, may I add. your government have to eat well, have to live well. So what now complain about? Look how much thief in there. You think it's cheap for man thief? How much thief in a Andrew Holness government? Thief not cheap, you know. So if you're a harbor thief, you have to plan to pay big. So me not see what you quarry about. Pay the people them money. Wanna have it. And wanna so no economy good. And if no economy is about no government, if no economy is about making the executive rich, wanna quarrel fa? Is my question. You're lucky say I'm go for 5 years and I go pay it. You are lucky. You don't have this for longer. To poor Mark Golden come with a big cabinet when him win the next election as well. Same bullshit, just different toilet. Same old shit, just different toilet. That's all it would be. Pay the people them money. The people them claim to say them can't walk if them pocket don't wad up. If you decide to put them on the job, you have to make sure them pocket fat. So I know what Jamaica people are complaining about. Pay the people them money. We don't have it. We don't economy good. Unemployment low. So now collect all heap of tax. Pay the people them money. But me don't know all they go after it. Me not let go after the Jamar murder. Because all of us are subjected to state brutality, whichever country we live in. Because you see, we've been fooled as a people. And this go across the ethnicity barriers. As people, particularly those of us who live in the Western Hemisphere, we're being fooled when it comes to some word like democracy, free speech, the rule of law, the right to life, the right to freedom of expression and association, freedom of conscience and religion, on all the bullshit. Those things are as safe as a sane as your leader is. That may be a bit of tongue-tied. Those systems are as safe as how sane your leader is. Donald Trump in America is quite a good example. Andrew Holness in Jamaica is quite a good example. They will test the water on even the legality of the Constitution. But what those two, Andrew Holness and Donald Trump, does a lot is the convention have some sources which are, we call them laws or their norms, but they doesn't have a legal backing or a legal weight. They're just practices that we accept to be normal. Andrew Holness and Donald Trump love to step away from those things because they know you cannot challenge them in the court because they don't have a legal force. They're just normal practice that we accept to be the norm. If a lunatic like Andrew Holness or Donald Trump comes along, such lunatic can say, in my view, that's not the norm. Yes, it's norm for you, but I don't have to follow it. So that's how your democracy or your freedom of this or freedom of that becomes very unstable. When you have an unstable leader steering these philosophies or whatever we want to call them. Because these things, and you look at the United Nations when it comes to war and peace, look at the Security Council, you realize that this system, if they're designed to work, they're only designed to work against African leaders, because it cannot work against a genocidal criminal like Benjamin Netanyahu. It had not worked against a war criminal like Barack Obama, like George Bush, like Tony Blair, like Nicolas Sarkozy, and all these murderers who committed war against the Afghan people, against the Libyan people, against the Iraqi people, against the people of Gaza. You see how unstable things can become for your country and for the world when you have leaders who have total disregard for the norms or even for black letter law. And this is why our police more and more can act with impunity, because we have a leader who tells them, judge or maker, if you can be bothered in capturing them or bringing them in front of the court, shoot them down. The Minister of National Security, shoot them first and find out who they are and what they're about after. Or for that matter, if they fail to come in the Jeep back, bring them on a stretcher, said the Minister of National Security. Those words carry weight. Those words carry weight. And who's to say that the brutality and the assault ever since this new commissioner take over, who's to say that our police officers are not acting on the words of the Prime Minister and the Minister of National Security? Anybody here, people like Dana Go, come out and say anything about this innocent killing? Because when she did a big vote for Andrew Holness wedding, she did sit down on her platform and promote judge and maker. Dana Go. I wonder if anybody here should come out and say anything about the brutal killing of an innocent young man. The hypocrisy of you Jamaicans on social media. The fear that you Jamaicans have gone into. One can't even speak up for truth and justice anymore. Fear and materialism has taken over. Because if it doesn't generate money on TikTok, if it don't generate money phone up on social media, it doesn't become a big story. Money not in this story. So me not see the whole world on social media I run on a jog with it. Look on Kaylis Rosalie on over social media go on. Rosalie, these are consequences of carelessness. What happened to Jamar? All of us, but all of us is subjected to that very same police brutality, where police can walk into a house without a warrant and carry out in a body bag and go to the media and tell the media, say, we fire gun after them. And Jamaicans over social media don't see the seriousness of that. But Mecca did fuckery go on. And you see how viral it become. Mecca did fuckery go on. And you see how it become viral. Dana Go is a hypocrite. They can come for me. She is a hypocrite because this woman always refused to speak up on our platform when any issue to do with the country because she's hypocritical about our government. And whether it's the same platform and same influence that she was used hustling the same Jamaica people them will support her to vote for Jamaica Labour Party. And in the midst of that, she was on her platform promoting Andrew Holness, judge and maker, to say Andrew Holness carried down crime. Carried down crime by murdering 226 young men. The way of Jamar load, it cannot be Jamar alone. Of the 226, of the 226 young men that have been murdered by the Jamaica Constabulary Force since January, all of them now echoes Jamar. What was the circumstances around their death? Did they really have a gun? Are they really criminal? Are they or were they really in a gang? Don't you think these questions ought to be asked? Now that we see for ourselves the length where police will go for murder in our house. We see the length where police will go to murder with. This is not upon road, you know. We're not going like say upon road this happen. We're not going like a wild shot hit the youth. Jamaica. We're not going like say the youth get hit by a wild. Oh Jesus, Lord, I want to take it serious. Make a go on. Make a go on about my business. Come go Jamaica National, go pay a tax, you know. Because I say it look like only me worried. So when life is held in the hands of Jamaican untrained, hungry, dunce, underpaid, lack of training police officers. Are they so they know Jamaicans? Whether I want it to be there or not, or comfortable with it there or not, they saw it there. They saw it there. Anyway, my people. Ladybug, how you do? Yes, I come out this morning because I never get to come back and do a story on Jamar last night. So I say I have to come out today, come do a story. I'm coming back out tomorrow, come do us because it's headline story. In many countries, what this turned out to be, it would be on the headline for days. This is a headline story in normal country for days, in the news for weeks. You see the paper them barely pay no attention to it, barring when it just happened and them right. Without the CVM investigation, we wouldn't even know so much at the moment. And we have so much so-called media house in our country. When none of them, when last on a Jamaican media house break a story. When last on a Jamaican media house break a big story. Couldn't tell. Anyway, my TikTok battery are done. So lovely to be out here with you all on a Saturday morning. We're not going to come back tonight because, you know, we don't normally work on Saturday, but we have to run out today. But we'll come back tomorrow, possibly in the evening. I might go watch my friend kicking football in the morning part. So possible tomorrow evening, we will be back out again. But we will continue to call for justice for the extrajudicial killing of Jamar and justice in the resignation of the Commissioner of Police, resignation of the Minister of National Security, and of course, the arrest and charge of all 23 police officers involved in the shooting of Jamar Ferguson. And we say justice now. Thank you and good morning, good afternoon from Global TV.
Oh, thy peace, God of my salvation, because the mouth of the sinful and wicked is open. Rastafari. Come with I. Rastaman throw one stone and it break a bad feeling to all wicked men. That's a people there. Make a man throw one stone and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Only when man like Marcus Garvey speak, wicked men would I hear. Hear not hear. Instead of that, they only sit aside and rob and cheat and not press the poor. Make up what I seen to. Make him a throw one stone and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a plan. Make him a throw one stone and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. My favorite part, if Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the day them can sell out Rasta and sell it out and sell out Babylon. They give man throw one stone and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. They give man throw one stone and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. If Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the dead and can sell out Rasta and sell out, I sell out Babylon. Yes, stop on the Friday. was in prison for 20 odd years. And he leave from the prison and take the seat of the president. Stone one. Big him and Joe one stone. And it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what's a black big man, Joe and stone. And it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Rasta man, Joe and stone. And it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men.
If you don't like missing out on the latest shows but still enjoy classic hits, then Global TV Group 358 is your perfect match. Global TV Group 358 isn't just another channel, it's your ultimate TV experience. From breaking news to binge-worthy dramas and timeless classics, we've got it all. Our unique blend of original content and global favorites means there's something for everyone. And guess what? With GTVG's seamless streaming, you can watch anywhere, anytime. Plus, our interactive features let you be part of the action. So, whether you're a seasoned binge watcher or a casual viewer, Global TV Group 358 is here to keep you entertained day and night. Don't just watch TV, experience it with Global TV Group 358. Subscribe now and never miss a moment.